Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Royalty Cut here, and in today's tutorial we'll be learning how to cut and sew this crop top with a short pant you see on my thumbnail. If this is a video you're interested in, please keep on watching to the end, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. So basically for this tutorial, I'll be making use of this beautiful Ankara print you see over here, and I'm making use of 2 yards of this fabric. I also have an elastic band of 1 inch for the waist area. So let's get back to the tutorial. So for this tutorial, the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to fold our fabric, because we'll be cutting the pants first before the upper body. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold my fabric into two. Now, after folding my fabric into two, just like you see me do over here, I actually folded with my round time measurement divided by two. So the round time measurement that I'm working with is 26 inches. I went ahead to divide 26 inches into two, which actually gave me 13 inches. So in the 13 inches, I added extra 1 inch allowance, and I have 14 inches in total on fold. So the 1 inch that I added is for our sewing allowance. So after folding my fabric into two, we are cutting the first pant piece, the front first pant piece. So I'm going to go ahead and mark our starting line at the tip of this fabric you see over here. Now, after marking the starting line, this will be serving as our waistline. The next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do right now is to input our crotch depth measurement. Now, the crotch depth measurement that I'm working with is 12 inches. So from this waistline that I marked here, I'll go ahead and extend 12 inches all the way down to this folded edge. So after marking the crotch depth measurement, which is 12 inches, I'll go ahead and take our full pants length. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know that I don't take my full length from the waist area. I take my full length of my pants or trouser from the flap area. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure the full length from the flap area. Wherever you want yours to stop, just go ahead and note the inches. So for me, I want the full length of this pant to actually be 14 inches. Now the full length is 13, so I added extra 1 inch. That will be making it 14 inches. The 1 inch is for the folding of the down part. Now, after marking the full length of this band that we are working with, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the lines that we have out so that we can work with the remaining fabric that we have. So after cutting this piece out, we are going to be working with this piece. Now the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to measure the 1 inch for the sewing allowance that we have. I'm going to go ahead and measure the 1 inch from the waist area to the full length of this pant. After marking the 1 inch all the way down to the full length of this dress, now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do again is to mark another 1 inch from the waistline all the way down to the crotch depth. Now this 1 inch, remember, is for our allowance. So apart from this 1 inch, I'm going to go ahead and mark another 1 inch starting from this line all the way down to the crotch depth. What I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to divide my round waist measurement into four. Now, if your round waist measurement is 32 inches, just go ahead and subtract 2 inches from your normal round waist measurement. So for me, my round waist is 30 32 inches. I'll go ahead and subtract 2 inches from my round waist measurement, which will actually give me 30 inches. Now I'll go ahead, the 30 inches that I have, I'll go ahead and divide the 30 inches into 4, and I'll be left with 8 inches. Now, after the 8 inches, just go ahead and add extra 2 inch allowance to the 8 inches that you have. So for me, I'll be marking 10 inch starting from this point that I marked this 1 inch. I don't know if you can see. So I'll be marking the 10 inch at this waist area. So after marking the 10 inch at this waist area, I'm going to go ahead and extend the 10 inch again down to the crotch depth line. Thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to from this 1 inch, this second 1 inch that we have here. Okay, let me go in and fold in this allowance line so that we wouldn't get confused. So after this, in this 1 inch line that we have here, I'm going to go ahead from the tip of this line that we have, this 1 inch line. I'm going to go ahead and connect it in a slanted way into this 1 inch that we have here. If you don't understand, just watch what I'm doing. Just watch the way I'm placing it. Now you can choose to use your free hand to do this, or you can even go ahead and use your ruler just like me. So after connecting the line of this 1 inch that I have here all the way down into this line, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to measure what I have left here at the crotch depth. So I have 2.5 inches here. I'm going to go ahead and divide the 2.5 inches into two, and I'm left with 1.25. So at this point, I'm going to actually go ahead and get to the center by drawing a line from that tip upward, and I'll go ahead and measure the 1.5 inch, 1.25 inch that we got from dividing this remaining part into two. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark it at this point, as you can see. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to, from this crotch depth end that we have here, I'm going to go ahead and connect the line into this center, and also from this center back into this round waist measurement line that we have here. Now after connecting it, our crotch depth is ready. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to mend the full length of this trouser. So at the full length of this piece, I'm going to be coming in by 2 inch. I'm going to go ahead and mark the 2 inch down at this part, and I'll also, from this allowance line that I have here, I'll also go ahead and mark in by 2 inch. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to connect this line all the way down to this crotch depth line, and also connect this 2 inch that we have here into this 1 inch line that we have here. So I'm just going to go ahead and place my curve ruler this way. You can also go ahead and do that with a free hand. So after connecting from the crotch depth to the full length, from this part I'm also going to go ahead and place my curve ruler this way and connect the lines. Now after connecting it, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to add 1 inch sewing allowance from these new lines that we have here all the way down to the full length of this pant. Then after that, I'll just go ahead and cut this out. So basically, after cutting this out, this is what our front pant is looking like. And remember, I also added extra 1 inch by the sides of this pant. Now I'm just going to go ahead and fold another fabric into two for us to cut the back piece. This fabric is already on fold. The next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to bring the front piece that we cut out earlier and place directly on it, just like you see me do over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and place it on this folded fabric, giving about 1 inch above the folded pattern. So after placing that, I'm just going to go ahead and extend this crotch depth line that you see over here with my curve ruler. So after extending this, before you place your front piece on your fabric, ensure that you have extra allowance inches on the folded new pattern or new fabric that you have. So I extended the crotch depth line, and I'm going to go ahead from the tip of this front piece that I have here. I'm going to go ahead and measure 1 inch above this place that you see over here. Now that was the purpose of giving the 1 inch that we have. So after measuring the 1 inch, I'm going to go ahead and slant from this 1 inch all the way down to this round waist measurement we have at the front piece. Just watch the way I'm placing it. So after marking the line vertically to meet this point, this is what I have left. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to, from this waistline of the front piece that we have here down to the crotch depth, I will be adding to the back piece 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 1 inch from this tip all the way down to the crotch depth. Now, after marking the 1 inch from the waistline down to this point, I did not mark it down to the crop depth crop. Now, I'm going to go ahead and extend this curve line that we have here all the way down to this 1 inch pattern line that we have, just like you see me do over here. Now after that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is at this crotch depth line that I measured, I'll be measuring 2.5 inches or 2 inches. Now if your round thigh measurement is not up to 26 or 28, please extend by 1.5. But if your crotch depth is up to 28 inches or 26 inches and above, just go ahead and measure your crotch depth to be 2 inches for the back piece. Now I've gone ahead to mark the 2 inch. With my curve ruler, I'm going to curve from this 1 inch that we extended to this part all the way down to this 2 inch allowance that we have at our crotch depth, just like you see me do over here. Now your crotch depth determines how well your trouser flap will come out. So if you want your flap area to come out well, make sure that this curvy part is actually looking good. Now after extending it all the way down, now from the crotch depth all the way down to the full length of our pant, I'll be subtracting 1/2 inch from whatever thing that I measured at the crotch depth line here. Now if you marked 1.5 inch at this point of your crotch depth, just go ahead and subtract 1/2 inch, meaning that from this crotch depth that we have here all the way down to your full length, you'll be extending with 1 inch. But since I marked 2 inches here, subtracting 1/2 inch, I'll be extending with 1.5 inch. Now after marking the 1 inch all the way down to the full length with my curve ruler, just like the way we place our back piece, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that I place it this way to connect the lines together. Now after marking this in, this is what our back piece is looking like. Now the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do right now is to go ahead and cut this out. Finally, after marking it and cutting it out, this is what the back piece is looking like. I'm just going to go ahead and separate the front piece from it, and this is what our back pant is looking like. Now I'm going to, for the front piece, I have two pieces here in total. So from the waist area down to this crotch depth, I'll be sewing with 1/2 inch just from the waist to the crotch depth, and I'll be doing the same thing for the back piece, and we'll be placing that aside. So for the front piece, let's just go ahead and fold our fabric into two. Now remember that the front piece of this dress that we are making is a crop top. So I'm just going to go ahead to cut our front and our back piece together. I'll be folding by 4 instead and not by 2. So folding by 4, at the end here, I left about 1 inch. I folded it into two first, just like you see. Now folding it again, I did not fold it all the way down to the full size of this fabric, but I left about 1 inch at the tip here for our zipper allowance. So this line that I have here, this allowance that I gave at the tip here, will be serving as our zipper allowance, just like you see over here. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to impute our body measurement. So this tip here will be serving as our shoulder line. So from the shoulder line, let's get the full length of this blouse or the top. Now you can choose to make yours your half length, or you can choose to make it more fuller. So I have 19 inches here in total, and I think I should be working with 19 inches. But if you want yours to be shorter, you can go ahead and use your full length. So 19 inches is the full length of our crop top. So from the shoulder line, we'll be imputing our vertical measurement. Now, our chest line is 8 inches. I'll mark that. Our bust point is 10 inches. I'll mark that. And our waistline is 16 inches. I'll also mark that. And our full line is 19 inches. So I'll just go ahead and extend the lines. Now, after marking the chest line and the bust point and the waistline, the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do now is to divide my shoulder to shoulder measurement into two. The shoulder to shoulder measurement I'm working with is 16 inches. 16 inches divided by 2 will give us 8 inches. Now, the measurement that we are to be taking is not from this 1 inch. We'll be taking our measurement from this second folded layer that you see over here. So the measurement will be from this point and not from this point. So I'm going to go ahead and impute the 8-inch measurement. So I'll mark 8 inches here and go ahead to extend it all the way down to the chest line. So after that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to determine the neck width that I want. So for the neck width, I'll be working with 3 inches. So at this point, I just noticed that this dress having a zipper is not actually necessary. So I'm just going to go ahead and close in the 1-inch zip that we have here. But if you want yours to have a zipper, just go ahead and leave the 1 inch for your zipper. So for the neck width, for it to be able to pass our head, I'm just going to be able to make it more wider. So I'll be working with 4 inch. So from the shoulder line, the depth that I'll be working with is 2 inches, because we are cutting the front piece and the back piece together. Then after cutting it, we'll be separating the front piece to determine the neck area we want for the front piece. So with the curve ruler, I'm just going to go ahead and get our neck curve. Now after that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is at this shoulder line, I'm just going to go ahead and mark 1 inch, which will be serving for our shoulder slope, and I'll be connecting it all the way down to this neck width. So after that, I'm going to go ahead and measure what I have left from this point to this point. Just like you see, I have 7 inches. I'll go ahead and divide the 7 inches into 2, which will be 3.5. So I'll mark the 3.5. At the point I mark 3.5 inward, I'll be coming in by half of an inch. So after that, I'll be connecting this half of an inch that I have inward here all the way down to this 1 inch shoulder slope that we have. After that, on the chest area, I'm going to go ahead and divide my round bust measurement into 4, which is 36. 36 is my round bust measurement, divided by 4 is actually 9 inches. So at this chest line, I'll be marking 9 inches. Now remember that this is not a fitted crop top. So to make it more freer, I'll be adding extra 3-inch allowance to it. Both the sewing allowance and the 3-inch allowance is inside the 3-inch. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and connect this half of an inch that we have at the armhole all the way down to the measurement of our round bust that we marked at our chest line, just like you see me do over here. So after marking that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to mark the same measurement that I have at our chest area at our bust point. So marking it, I'm going to go ahead and divide our round waist measurement, which is 32 inches divided by 4 is 8.25. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 8.25 at our waist area, and I'll be adding the same 3-inch allowance that I added at the tip, just like you see me do over here. Now, after marking the 3-inch allowance, I'm going to go ahead and join the lines together. Now, whatever thing you get at your waist area, make sure you reciprocate it at the full length of your top. Now, this is basically what our top is looking like. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. At this point, I also gave about half of an inch that I'll be using to be turning the neck area, and half of an inch at the shoulder line that I'll be using to join it together. Now opening it up, we have our front piece and our back piece together. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this aside. So for the front piece neckline, this is the front piece that I have here. I'm going to be determining what neck area I want. Now it is up to you to also decide what you want. So from the shoulder line, I'm just going to go ahead and mark 4 inches or 5 inches, depending on how full you want it to be. But note that since I'm not attaching a zipper, I would want a neck area that can pass through my head. So I'll be marking 5 inch at this point, and I want to have a curvy neck area. So I'm just going to go ahead and place it this way. If you want a V shape or any shape, just go ahead and mark it. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up this part, leaving about half of an inch for joining or folding the neck area, just like you see me do over here. So after cutting up the front piece neck area, this is what it is looking like. So I'm just going to go ahead and face the neck area of the front piece and also face the neck area of the back piece. So for the trouser pants that I told you earlier that I'll be joining from the waist area to the crotch depth line, I've already joined it, and this is what the front piece is looking like. So the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is to place the two pieces of the front piece and the back piece right side facing each other, and I'll be making sure that the crotch depth area line is meeting this way, just like you see me do over here. So from this crotch depth line center that we have here, I'll be joining the both front and the back with about half of an inch from this crotch depth side to this side, and from the crotch depth side to the other side with half of an inch. And after that, I'll be attaching a waistband. I'll go ahead to measure the front waist area and the back waist area. I'll be measuring it this way, which I have 20 inches here, and I'll be cutting a band of 20 inches, and the width will be 2 inch on fold. So I'll do that for the front piece and the back piece. Remember that the back piece band will be attached separately, the right side and the left side, because of the zipper will be attaching. So I'll go ahead to attach the band and to also join the sides that I showed you earlier. So basically, after I was done joining the crotch area, just like I showed you earlier, I also went ahead to attach a band to the front piece and the back piece. Now I'm just going to go ahead and place this together. Now, if you notice, due to the allowance we gave for the back, the front piece and the back piece are not the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip this to the back side and make sure that each side of the back piece aligns with the side of the front piece. We know that they are not equal, yes, but just make them to be equal because we'll be shaping this together. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin this side all the way down and also do the same thing for the other side. So after pinning the sides, just like I told you earlier, I make sure that the sides are equal. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to input my round body measurement. Now the round waist that I'm working with is 32 inches. Remember, 32 inches divided by 2 is 16 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and impute it. About I have about 20 inches at the waist area. So my waist area is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I'll be subtracting 2 inch from both sides. This is actually the way you shapen your pants. So I subtracted 2 inch from both sides and I marked it down. If you want your waist area to be tighter, you can choose to subtract extra 1 inch from your normal waist area. So for the hip line, I'm just going to go ahead and impute my tape rule at this waist band line, not from this tag, from the normal trouser, and I'll be marking my hip length, which is 10 inches. So at this point, I'll be imputing my round butt measurement into two. I'm working with 42 inches. 42 inches divided by 2 is 21 inch. So I have about 24 inch here. So I'll just go ahead and subtract 2 inch from both sides. So after marking the 2 inch, I'll just go ahead with my curve ruler. I'll go ahead to make sure that from this waist point, it makes back into the 2 inch at the waist area in a curvy way. And I'll be doing the same thing for this side. Now, while doing this, just make sure that the part you're going to be shaping is smooth. Don't bother the allowance that we added at the back piece. So this is what it's looking like. So I'm just going to go ahead. From that point, I'm just going to go ahead and connect it all the way down to the full length of our pants. As you can see, we've already had a room where our butt will be sitting in. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing with this. Now, at the end of the day, this is what our pants is looking like. So from this new line that I marked here, I'm just going to go ahead and shaping this pants. After that, I'll be folding the edges with 1 inch, and I'll also be imputing a zipper to the back piece of this our pants. Now, the zipper will be starting from the waist area to any place your butt length is, and that will be that for the pants area. So now for the front area, I went ahead to fold the neck area of the front and the back piece. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to place the front and the back piece right side facing each other, just like you see me do over here. And I'll be joining the shoulders with about half of an inch, and I will also go ahead to turn in the sleeve area because it's a sleeveless. I won't be attaching a sleeve to it. So I'll be folding in this sleeve area for it to be looking smooth. But if you choose to attach a sleeve to yours, there's no need of it. Just go ahead and cut your basic sleeve and attach it to your dress. Now, after joining the shoulder area, so after that, I'm just going to go ahead and shaping the sides with about 1 inch. Remember, it's a free crop top. So I'll be shaping the sides to about 1 inch, and I'll be folding the end of this fabric with 1 inch, and that will be that for the end of this tutorial. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. See you in our next video. Bye.